All right, hey folks, good morning. Let's do some work. Hold on. Just woke up, a little scruffy feeling. Let's see if we're live and how our volume control is at, and then we'll get some artwork done today. So mic check, 1, 2, 3. We'll get some artwork done today. Holy Hannah, yeah, that's sufficient. Cool. Drop that down, grab that, grab a link, I'm going to do some social media posting here real quick. I'm going to be streaming later on today. It's 7 a.m. here. Oh, it's not even, it's 6:45, shit. It's 6:45 here in Seattle. I'm going to be streaming at 1 o'clock to continue work on the Artificer spell point variant rules, using the new 2024 UA as a guiding point for us to build. Where am I at? Down there, good. Let's see. There I am. So we're making an Eberron adventure. It's called Crystals of Mabar. You can see the book cover here. It's for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. We're publishing on DMsGuild. It's for 4 or 5 characters of level 8 and 7, respectively. Interesting note, the amount of experience points that it takes to get to a level for 4 8th level characters is the same that it takes to get to 8th level as 5 7th level characters. I enjoy the parallel there. Let's see. Beep, 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 beep. Get rid of this here. And I think we're done with all the posting. Yeah, I'm here 5 days a week in the mornings like this. I Monday through Friday, I do artwork for the next thing that I'm publishing, which is the Eberron adventure. And then on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Friday lunchtimes, and Thursday night and Saturday mornings, I do game design for, right now, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition 2024. Various Spelljammer, Magic the Gathering color mana system, the Bastion campaign guide. Yeah, we do a lot of stuff. So stick around if you think this stuff is fun. Thanks. I appreciate you being here. Like and subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we're live in the future. We just hit 500 subscribers. So my next major goal is going to be 1,000 subscribers, naturally. Here's the full playlist of all 376 episodes of us building all the maps, tokens, creatures, NPCs, items, as well as starting on the layouts. And now we're doing page art and the book cover. Of course, we built this book cover around episode 40, and we picked at the lettering off and on between maps, finally finishing up like around episode 260. So you can check all that stuff out. We're working on alternate plot hooks, as we've discussed a lot in the past. There's an assumed plot line where you're deputized by sheriffs at Fort Bastion to investigate complaints of villagers going missing. There's bigger problems, so they just outsource it and deputize adventurers. That's you. But there's 5 alternate plot hooks involving what's going on that's leading to the villagers going missing. A bunch of dark necromancy, ritual shit, pretty classic stuff in the Carnwood. I'm going to do some page rearrangement here, because I was looking at how is this space being used, and I know I want to drop in some background stuff here, but I also want to do some page surgery. Let's see here. Like, I'm going to want to probably put some like bookshelves back in here, because this is the plot hook to Ader Academy. An artifact has been stolen from the archives of Ader Academy, and you are, instead of being deputized by Fort Bastion to investigate missing villagers, you are hired by Ader Academy to recover a missing artifact that is connected to the plane of Mabar, which is like the realm of undeath. So, are you already seeing the connections? Just filling in some like background stuff for the token, just to give it some meat. But we're just working on sketches right now. So here's the surgery that we need to do right now. I need to there. So we're going to take the bonus resources here. We're going to cut them out of the page here. Here. And then here. When I do the illustrations and I finish a page, when I go back into the document and I try to drop the page into the document, I can see the inconsistencies, which triggers me to correct them. But for now, we're just pushing this section to another side, to the next page. Let's create a little bit of gap. Yeah, that's about right. Merge down. So this space is occupied. Click there. What we're going to do instead. Hold on. Something like cattywampus. Merge. There we go. Like that page. So here's the first page. We got dunk here. Now we just freed up a shitload of space over here. But if we go up here, you see we have adventure goals. Danica hires the characters to investigate the presence of evil in the Carnwood and recover the missing scouts. So obviously that's been physically adjusted as well. But now I've created the names for, we have the names for the different adventurers that went missing. Actually, what I can do is I can open up this space a little bit more. That's not the right button. Pull those down a bit. Pull these down to here. And that opens up a little bit of space here. This is setting the tempo. Here. So here we're lining up the bottom of the text. Right. Roughly something like that, I think, is where that's going to end up sitting. So let's grab these. that. There we go. There. And yeah, this is going to work out. Good. Because I'm doing all the art layout, and at this point, I had a, okay, so the crew that we had building this was me, Andy Headley, the old goat, and Stuart Braz. So between the three of us, we were able to hash out this adventure, but I'm overseeing the artwork, the layouts, and I was lead writer on it, as well as, you know, creator. So cheers. But the point I'm making, there, get rid of that. There. Let's see how far down the page. That feels good. Okay, cool. Now we've got that spacing there. We can get rid of that. So we filled up the space a little bit better, and we need to do, I actually need to do tokens for each of these NPCs. So we're probably sometime soon going to be dropping into a space where we're doing a bunch of researchers. We already have 2 research token images that we'll be able to just drop into these space, and then we'll just need to do 4 more to match up with them. So none of these adventures is about people missing or like connecting with people. So I shouldn't have used that same layer. Let's, oh god damn it, and I lost that one too. There, that one left. And this one's going to be right. So right now we're going through the process of basically filling in sketches for each of these characters. On each page, we either have art on a page or we don't, right? And the page will either have, it'll either be maps, tokens, spot illustrations, or potentially all 3 of them. So we're going through the process of, you know, I feel like this is a little cramped. Gotta be careful about my spacing because I want it to be consistent. Like on the other page where we pulled this reference from, like that's all the room I have. So I have to operate within that space of the tokens. I can just leave this open. I don't have to have it. I don't have to have a page overly crowded. There's something about too much image density that makes a page throw off a little bit. This will end up feeling pretty balanced, I think. I'm happy with this. So let's go ahead and go with that. We're gonna conceal that for now. Once once we fill in sketches for this entire block, I still need to do this one. Like, it's like we can have a little bit of breathing room down here. I don't have to cram art into every nook and cranny. See, here's the spacing that we have here for these. Maybe if I can tighten up the text here, I can open up that space a little bit more. I need a sketch here. This page is full. What's this all about? Oh, this is the same section. Okay, so I think we're good there. We're good there. What's going on here? Teleportation chamber, officers' quarters, nexus chamber, laboratory, where they make the poison. Yeah, we worked on Bastions last night. Thursday and Saturday nights we do game design, and we're building the Bastion campaign supplement to complement and further expand on the ideas of the Bastion that were put in 2024. I'm sure there's 100 people that are working on that. Eric Tacek, who helped work on some of the command mechanics that we originally built for Spelljammer, he just put out a Bastion guide for the 10 guilds of Ravnica. I'm a huge Ravnica fan, so I snatched that up. I had a bunch of unique facilities and stuff for each of the guilds. This would very much complement that. I don't know. Maybe we'll bundle with it. Where'd you go? There it is. All right. There's weirdness going on with my Wacom tablet and my screen. So let's see. This is a space that we're looking to fill right now. Concluding the campaign. Okay, so I'm getting kind of a Magic Circle vibe off of this, because we have a teleportation. The whole goal of the 12 plot hook, where you're hired to infiltrate the research facility here that are controlled by the Emerald Claw Necromancers, because there's a magic circle, a teleportation circle inside the facility that's had its runestones removed. So it's not you can't teleport, you can't use it currently. The teleportation circle is disabled. So the 12 has to hire somebody to walk in and reactivate the teleportation circle so they can start teleporting their support, quote unquote, support crew / Wetworks team, to remove the necromancers from power and replace them with the 12's own trusted allies. The characters may or may not be aware of the full score. Their job is just to get in, activate the teleportation circle by adding new runes to the missing spaces, and then use it and teleport out as proof of use. And that completes your mission, and you get your loot. The characters could become emotionally attached to, like, say, villagers that they run across inside the adventure, or maybe some of the lab assistants need help or something like that. So the team's going to have to make some morally gray decisions about, do I want to leave these people? Like, when this Wetworks team from the 12 comes in, they're going to kill everyone. So you don't want to be there. But if you become morally attached to what's going on, then maybe you have a change of heart and you start fighting the veteran kill squad. Maybe. So we're looking at a teleportation circle here. I want to create these little nodes. Can't say node without no. Tip your staff. There we go. So I'm looking at making little rune stones here, and then have like this one goes here, this one goes here. This one goes here. Because your characters are given, you're flat out given the rune stones and the diagram for how they fit into the teleportation circle. So you can just walk in, plug them in, press the on button, and then leave. And if you want to run, it's great for a one shot. So the optimal path is plane shift into the facility, find the teleportation circle, insert stones, exit stage left. That's the proposed action loop for the adventure. You can do that as a one shot. If you don't want to run it as a one shot, but you want to use the 12 because that's the kind of campaign that you're currently running, then the plane shift isn't accurate. It's specifically said it's not accurate in the player's handbook. So you could have the team arrive further away from the facility. Like, for example, you could arrive in the village. And they don't tell you where the facility is. They're just teleporting you into it for you to resolve and then teleport back out. They don't need to tell you details about like what's the coordinates of the location. So when the plane shift goes wrong and you end up in this village, it'll either be the villagers are there and they're scared and they don't know who you are, or alternatively you arrive and they're all dead they've all died from an undead horde attack. And there are no survivors, but there's evidence that it came from the woods. But you may or may not know why you're there, like what's going on, and why are you shutting the place down. So you might not know that it's necromancers performing a ritual that's gone awry, that's summoning hordes of undead that are creating trouble. Like, that could be difficult. So it becomes a mystery as to exactly what's going on. And by the time you get to the facility and it's time for you to work the teleportation circle, you'll have had a chance to meet multiple villagers, the NPC mercenaries that were hired to provide security for the place, but have come to realize that it's like there's horrible shit going on. We need out. But you're in this plot, you don't have a deputy's badge, so you have no authority. So everyone looks at you as potentially being hostile. So it becomes a really fun, like, you can fall back on what your original orders are. All these people are dicks anyway. Let's just let them get killed. Like that's you can have that attitude. That's fine. No judgment. Well, let's take that whole thing and let's shrink it down. Hold on. Yeah, let's shrink that down just a smidge. There's a backup set in the officers' quarters. If the characters acquire the sending stones within the animated safe and use it, the other stone is held. The sending stone, there you go, who recognizes them and instructs them to activate the teleportation circle, ending conversation through the stone for that day. That should be a mystery. Well, not really, because these guys are working for the 12. There's other plot hooks where you don't know what's going on at all, and you're just basically invading, like you're raiding the place like a cop. And you find the sending stone. You use the sending stone. It is Rahid's voice on the other end, but he doesn't know who you are, so he doesn't respond. Or he could, depending on what the adventure is or how the DM takes it. But Rahid becomes a point of interest. If you don't know who he was previously, he obviously knows what's going on inside here now. So if you're running multiple plot lines at the same time, Rahid might misunderstand who has the stone and start telling you information, even though you're authorities. That would be very embarrassing for him. That feels good. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're gonna use that'll end up being, so we'll come up with runes for these stones here. That'll be fun. I'm going to call this one left. Not really any room here. Corpse is lying in the hallway with a crossbow bolt jutting out of the throat area. Out of the throat. I don't need area. A closer inspection reveals a large cluster of black crystals forming in its mouth. A piece of parchment still in the hand, in the dead man's grip, is a rough map of the underground facility. See player's handout, facility map sketch. The map clearly indicates the secret passage, but there's unfortunately no notes regarding the trap that felled the spy. The corpse also has a pouch of black powder. Casual observation reveals these are ground crystals similar to those on the corpse's face, and in the pouch includes instructions for how to use the substance as an arcane focus for necromancy rituals. If the players cast Speak with Dead, the corpse reveals it has been hired by Rahid to evaluate if the manifest zone could be stabilized, and if so, prospects for harvesting the region for Mabaran crystals, which is the whole drive of the 12's involvement being here in the first place. But these are each unique plot points that alter the adventure. Like there are these different, there's wandering encounters, there's prepared encounters, and there's optional encounters. So the prepared encounters are modified by what plot it is that you're inside of, and then the amount of optional encounters can be layered, can be assembled together as like more like they're like planned wandering encounters, but they're not actually important. Like they're not critical to the plot of the adventure. But if you run these optional encounters, they either create more, they provide more information after engaging with it, or it's just combat challenges or exploration challenges to fill the space. So the path from A to Z has more bumps, curves, and chunk to it. So we're inside. I'm actually doing layouts for part 2 now. Inside the manifest zone, and I'm having to do a lot of, again, more restructuring, and making some alterations to some of the optional challenges. So that's taking a little bit more time than I expected. Big surprise. Everything always takes longer than I expected to. But we're going to keep plugging away with the artwork in here and keep filling in all the pieces. I'm hoping to make some decent progress this weekend to be able to move that forward. I'll be streaming Saturday morning the Bastion campaign supplement, but I think I want to have like a sack. A bunch of powder spilling out of it. A little rolled parchment in here with a bunch of dust leaking out. Oops. Can I make that a separate layer, Kearney? And this is going to be right. So I have a whole page here, and I don't have to fill in a bunch of shit. This is a large enough space that I feel like I just want to have like a little corner bit. Let's see. Powder, parchment. Yeah, like that. Yeah, there you go. Fabric clothy bag. And we're just doing sketches right now just to get a lay of the land, right? To see what kind of density we have. Transform, shrink this down a bit. Yeah, Ricky didn't give you a map. What the fuck? Yeah, Ricky didn't give you a map. What the fuck? Actually, I suppose this guy built that map himself, maybe? I don't know. Though it wasn't. Whoa! That's too loud. We gotta bring that down, y'all. Let's bring that down. We've got barely anywhere for us to bring down to, but we're going to attempt it. Might have to nudge my volume over here instead. There, we could probably afford to do that. That probably feels better there. Yep, that's better. Okay, cool. So we got a little piece of corner art here. It doesn't have to crowd up the piece too much. And then we have Rahid. Let's get him in an environment. There, sketchy stuff. Appendix 3, alternate plot hooks. Plot hook number 1, Council of 12, storyline, adventure goals, bonus resources, adventure rewards, following page, starting point, unique encounters, trap victims, side passes, secret passage, teleportation center, circle, the teleportation chamber, officers' quarters, laboratory. I think I need to have 2 lines between these, so I have to push this down a space, but I'm going to have to raise this up a space. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can make some space. Here, and then here, 8 are academy requisitions, story lore, adventure goals, missing lab assistants, internal bits, bonus resources, adventure rewards, starting point. Chung. Good. And then, concluding the adventure, continuing the campaign, laboratory, prison, nexus chamber. Concluding the adventure, continuing the campaign. Jesus Christ, that's a really big chunk. Characters succeed in all their mission objectives, earning the full portion of rewards offered. If the characters fail any of the 3 objectives, the rewards are reduced accordingly, and if the characters fail to return the eye, any evidence, or researchers, the Academy refuses to pay. I could take... we could go over here. We could just grab concluding the adventure and just drop it down here. governing board of Eberron Academy, fear embarrassment, and editorial oversight, and additional oversight if the events of the adventure become known to the ruling aristocracy in Karnath. They request the characters take stewardship of the facility to keep it from being used again, and to provide protection and assistance to local villagers harmed by the events in exchange for not letting rumors spread. Eberron Academy can call upon the characters again to perform another mission to recover additional artifacts and relics. As detailed further below would be the right addition there. I'm just doing some spot edits here. As detailed further below. The surviving researchers that provided testimony against the Emerald Claw are marked for assassination. The Academy calls upon the characters to protect them from retribution. Those are fun little plot hook ideas. But now we have a huge space to fill. These researchers are overworked, sacrificing their time. Dex's chamber. My God, what am I going to fill? What am I going to put in that space? I don't know, maybe we can do like a campus picture of Eberron Academy. Oh yeah, that is how we should do that. That makes a ton of sense. Let's do that. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, this is the correct way. So let's take this back up to here where it was. Eberron Academy. We can just have a illustration of the Academy. There you go. Campus. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, we'll just do basically a landscape building picture. We got a few of there's 13 moons in Eberron in total, each corresponding to one of the planes of existence. I love that, by the way. Absolutely love that piece of Eberron lore. So you can have multiple moons in the sky at night. Or, you know, during the day or whatever. But it adds for a lot of fun variety. Let's basically do a little architecture map, sort of. Real estate development sort of sketch art. That's what we'll end up doing for all the different buildings and stuff on the campus. That'll be fun. That'll be really fun. I like that. Okay, cool. This page is full. Working. Holy shit. Okay, well, it looks like we have a sketch idea for all of these now. That's good. How are we looking on time? I've got 20, about, what is it? 7:30. I've got about 20 minutes left. So I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Let's hunt down some more people real quick. Hold on. You're missing people. What about you? You're not actually missing people, right? No, it's just Dunk and sorry, the Aether Academy and Church of the Silver Flame that have MIA people that need to be accounted for. So those are fetch missions. Cool. Let's actually start sketching those people out. Gonna start with just basic sketch. We're gonna end up making this a separate token, like she is. So we'll be shifting into character art here pretty soon. Doesn't feel the same. Junkabetti. The Knights and Tricksters supplement that we have on DMsGuild, it reimagines the Eldritch Knight and the Arcane Trickster as more versatile type casters than what the Player's Handbook does. The Player's Handbook locks them into Arcane, but we allow you, with those options, you get to pick which type of magic you use, whether Arcane, Divine, or nature? No. Primal magic. So you can basically pick from the wizard, cleric, or druid spell list. So if you want to have like a woodsman, you can do a fighter, like you do an Eldritch Knight that has the druidic spell selection. You could have a Templar. Learn more. Oh, neat. Well, thanks, guys. Hi. Super cool. But yeah, we're doing sketch art for these. This is one of the side plot hooks for the Crystals of Mabar. The Church of the Silver Flame became aware that there's some sort of planar disturbance with the plane of Mabar. Plane of Mabar is where undead and darkness grow. It's like the source of darkness and undead. So the Church of Silver Flame, they fight undeath and lycanthropy and stuff like that. They're like a crusader. So hey, Titania, how you doing? Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, the Silver Flame fights possession, zones of evil, lycanthropy. And so when they found out that there was this necromantic activity happening in Karrnath, they sent it's Karrnath and Thrain, which is the seat of power of the Silver Flame in the Eberron setting. They and a bunch of other nations just ended a 500-year war, and they now have a Cold War peace. So if the Silver Flames start sending in like SEAL teams or like commando teams into Karrnath, that loose alliance is going to break down quickly. But they were there to find out if there's some sort of evil that needs to be concerned, because they don't trust Karrnath because they have this history of making undead soldiers. So they send in these scouts to go check out what it is, and those scouts went missing. So they're like, crap, we need to do something about that. So your team gets hired to basically get plane shifted into their last known location and find the missing scouts and then bring them home without creating any kind of disturbance. But along the way, you find out that these necromancers are kidnapping people and sacrificing them so that so they can feel the goal here is from the Emerald Claw, which is a necromancer cult. And here I'll show you the book cover. But in this underground facility, they have what it becomes a chrysalis of necrotic energy. They're attempting to channel energy from Sephiroth, the moon that is spiritually connected to the plane of Mabar, a source of undead energy. So it's siphoning energy off of the moon to generate an artificial manifest zone that then becomes a portal that has a direct line to the plane of Mabar. It'll bridge the gap, so you'll have an open conduit of negative energy, of necrotic energy, that the people that are funding this operation can then start exploiting for resources and easy channeling. And it's basically just a big money scheme that's going to destroy the world because of greed and, hubris, which is classic tropes for evil villains. So you have to rescue these. You have to rescue these scouts and prevent an incident from happening. But in that process, find out all this horrible shit that's going on, and you have to decide: do I really want to get aggressive with this stuff and be heroes, or are we going to stick to our program and just get these guys out and then maybe loop back around to it? So you got a few days to mess it around. So hey, well, Adult Swim, y'all. We were arrived from a certain district with fellow. What's up, Nitro? Yeah, that's right. That's correct. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The thing is pretty fucking big. We're also using, for those of you that aren't familiar, I'm using a 16:9 format for DMing with a tablet. So the way that it works is the 16:9 ratio fits inside the tablet or on a widescreen here. And each one and so these are 3 columns per page, and this column is also a 16:9 format horizontally. So you can look at the entire page with this is horrible. My background's fucking with it. But you can also shift the tablet to become vertical, and you can look at one panel at a time. So you have that flexibility for phones, and the base size here is a 12-point font. So this is 12-point font, which is really fucking big. Each column is about 5.5 by 9 inches tall. So that's about it's a little you have a little bit of wiggle room with it, but each format fits in there really. It's not a perfect fit. I don't want it to be a perfect fit, but it sits snugly enough on each way. I've never built a document this way. I don't print stuff. My art's been in plenty of printed books, and I keep getting books. I don't care about them. But what I care about is usability, functionality more than anything. And this is a really fun, creative space to be able to. I've never operated at a 16:9. Oh, it's actually 17:10. You can just drop. You can just it still lines up. The ratios are still there. But I've never worked in that medium before, and it's really fucking fun. So yeah, here I'll show you the master document. It took about a year or so making the adventure, and then we ran a number of playtests. Nitro here in the stream actually ran it as a DM with his team at one point. We also hired another DM to run it with his team, and he ran it a couple of times. So I think we had about like 8 or 9 different runs of this between different people. Here, let's pull back a little bit. There you go. So here's the full thing. It breaks down into 3 parts. Each part, like you start off in a village. If you run the entire, depending on what your plot line is, depends on where you start in the adventure. You can run it as a one-shot, or you can run it as like a 6-session adventure if you want to, depending on how far into the text you want to get, and how much information and like how many different components in the piece do you want. But it's built to be modular, so you can add or subtract pieces from it as needed. And we designed it to be professional DM friendly by having a lot of different plot points and having different insert points into the adventure, and having like some dungeons are completely optional. Like there's like 10 room dungeons that you can just completely skip if you don't need them, but you can extract them. Like next Halloween we'll be able to take the cemetery that we built. Here, I'll show you guys the cemetery real quick. But the cemetery that we built for one of the dungeons, that can be extracted and just made into like a Scooby-Doo scavenger hunt sort of cemetery mystery thing as a Halloween adventure. Let's go to Crystals in the Bar, and then the art, and then Act 2, and then Region 2. Here you go. So this is a 50. We don't have a grid on this one. But this is a 52 by 52 inch map. So it's a 52 by 52 squares. And the place is torn up. It's been forgotten about and buried inside of a forest that just rotted away. So the flagstones are all busted up. It's got all this, it's been raining constantly. The soil is all necrotic and gritty. So the team can navigate around inside this space, and the necrotic energies of the manifest zone of Mabar are causing each of these graves to, the skeletons inside of them are awakening. There's these giant flooded sinkholes that are basically mass graves that animate and then crawl out. You have the broken walls here that they come through. There's a secret passage that you can open in this gazebo here, and we're going to have like a little separate plate for it, but it's a manhole that you can drop down into an access tunnel that'll lead you down into the primary dungeon. And there's also another point of access over here in this torn up crypt. There's a secret passage. We have a separate token, like a sticky, that you can lay over this in your virtual tabletop. But there's a secret passage here that lines up here with this manhole here. This is a 45-degree angle. This is this line from this here through the manhole here, continuing off the map, leads underground to the underground dungeon where the actual temple, where the actual ritual is taking place. So there's like 3 different like surface level dungeons that, depending on what kind of encounters, like this is hardcore combat all the way. There's another one that's exploration and some combat and some social interaction, and then there's another dungeon that's 100% social interaction or exploration, but you can't do both. You can either sneak in or talk your way in, but you can't do both. So you have these 3 different gears that you can shift to get into the underground dungeon. And once you're in that dungeon, you can either stealth your way through it through an exploration by trying to avoid people and get to your objectives without alerting anyone that you're there, which is what Ader Academy and the 12 Assassins want you to do. There's also the plot where you're just going to battle your way through the whole thing, which is going to be like the Gatekeepers and the Silver Flame. And then there's social encounters where like you're deputized and you have authority to be there. Like you have the right to ask anyone questions, and if they resist you, you can fucking arrest them. So there's lab interns that are in here, and obviously necromancers and stuff. So you can literally just walk in and just start asking questions. And if anyone gives you any shit about it, you have the right to kill them if they resist arrest, because this whole place is like really suspicious and off the books. So it's a crime to be here. So one of the plots, you have a little crystal camera that you can take pictures of the laboratory and the lab assistants working with this necrotic material to create this undead goop. There's another area where people are being held prisoner to be sacrificed to this horrible ritual that they're performing. So it's all built to be able to approach the adventure from different angles and have different objectives and have different pillars of adventure to be able to it's designed to allow you to decide what's the right solutions without telling you there's a right or wrong way to run the place. So giving you options of being able to how to make the adventure flow differently. So those are the ideas anyway. Everyone can. Oh, hey, that's awesome. Glad to hear it, demo. I ran for the plot line. Yeah, because you can mix and match them. And then, or you can have like opposing adventuring teams that have their objectives that might be running opposed to yours. So when you run into them, it's either going to be like a run and gun fight against them, or like a standoff, or maybe they got some of the resources that you need already, so now you have to take it from them, or they try to convince you what you're doing is evil, and they try to win you over so that they can have you join with them, so they can take on the place. There's a lot of different ways to spin it, and at the end of it all, you can take it over as your bastion. And there's a point, there's a sinkhole, like there's more sinkholes in the underground facility, but let's see, where is that? Here you go. So if you take control of, it's like, here's the cemetery, here's the gatehouse, and here's the flooded fort. Here's a tunnel, an access tunnel in the flooded fort meant for you to be able to move large munitions and supplies in and out. The gatehouse is a topside entrance, and it has an elevator that actually drops down into the facility. And then the cemetery has a secret passage. But if you go through all this and you defeat the facility altogether, and you take control of it as your bastion, when you clean it up, you find a gaping hellmouth that leads down into Kyber. And so the Kyber isn't covered as part of the adventure. But this is when you end this adventure, depending on how long you run it, you're going to be 9th level. And so diving into Kyber basically is a pathway to Tartarus and the outer planes and like the lower planes, basically, the Eberron version of them anyway. But the further into Kyber, which is what they call Underdark, the deeper into Kyber you go, the more likely you are to find like aberrations like beholders and gibbering mouthers and illithid and all sorts of mindfuck magic monsters that drive you towards Zoriat or madness, which is what dwells below. And so I don't have any of this mapped out, but I could do a follow-up and start building out like 9th to 12th level mega dungeon stuff down here where everything is just madness and killing you, and you're basically the stopper on that bottle. So you want to take control of this place so your double-digit characters can delve down here. And by the time you get down around here, you're looking at planar stuff, and maybe your 15th level campaign then transitions into fighting demons in the outer planes, which you can transition physically into by delving through your basement. So, again, ideas inside of ideas. There's a ritual. There's the Eye of Mabar is an artifact that was made in Mabar, and it creates, when you perform the ritual, it creates an artificial manifest zone to be able to create a planar gate between the two planes. And one of the ideas in the adventure is that that's one of 13 planes. So Ader Academy and the gatekeepers both want to collect all 13. So the gatekeepers want them to control access and to be able to course the fate of Eberron and to navigate Eberron between these different planes so it doesn't get destroyed when they sweep it. And Ader Academy just wants the knowledge. So there's 13 different artifacts aside from the eye that when you use them with the ritual, they'll create a planar rift to the corresponding plane. If you don't know anything about the Eberron campaign setting, here's the different planes of existence, and here's the artifacts that we're building to go along with it. So you can take, so if this adventure concludes at level 9, you've got 9th through 20th level, you've got 12 levels left to collect each artifact. And by 20th level, if you have all 13 of them, maybe your campaign capper is you rebuild the cosmology of Eberron to be safer or to whatever your team's objectives are. Or you could even restructure it so it matches the Great Wheel if you wanted to. But if you have all 13 artifacts, you can combine them together to basically change the multiverse if you wanted to, which is a suitable 20th level objective. So maybe you can have sessions where a huge invasion force comes up and you just, yeah, exactly. And if you're like, if you want to have your Bastion get challenged, because I'm building at lunch today, in about 5 hours, I'm going to be continuing. Actually, no, I'm working on the Artificer subclasses. Tomorrow breakfast, I'll be working on the Bastion campaign book, where you use your Bastion as a source of adventure hooks by either fucking something up with your Bastion or your Bastion being attacked because of something that you do, and use that as plot points for you to be able to drive an adventure. And that idea really leans into all of that. So I got a little bit of ranting. I didn't get as much artwork done today as I wanted, but I got about 5 minutes left that I can play. So it's gonna do some. But we'll be working on these sketches. I'm here every morning. I do artwork like this every day for this adventure. When this book finishes, I'll move on to the next the next one. So like when we did the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book, we did all the artwork for that here live on stream in the mornings as well. And once we finished all the artwork, we published the book and we move on to the next one. So, Loodle Flint Basher, what's up, buddy? So I do this like sort of swirly technique here of being able to define the space of the characters that I'm doing, and the lines that combine and me erasing stuff ends up building a silhouette that I can then flesh out into something a little bit more presentable. But this is always how I start my process, is with this sketch. And it's I think it's so funny, like AI rendering, because this process that I do is essentially the same thing that AI does, that it takes a vague idea and it starts to fill in more specific details as it goes along. And then we just render to the level of detail that we want for the illustration involved, and then we move on to the next one. But I mostly start with like this, just like how do I fill the space, and then whether those gestures, like is there a gesture or an energy or an emotion I'm getting from it. I probably want to have this guy. You generally want to have art facing or pushing in towards the middle of the page. It's like this guy's kind of like looking off in that direction. We're going to flip it so he's looking over in this direction instead. Like this guy. Like Danya here, Danica, she's looking at them, and they're in the center column. So like I want to have this. I want to have this guy here. Free transform, flip horizontal. I want to have him facing towards center. Here's your center point across the line there. So I want these, I want everything pouring in towards the middle of the page so that you keep the eye inside of the space. How do I play? Yeah. Yeah, thanks a lot, Doma. Oh, no shit. That's awesome. I'm self-taught. So, by quote unquote self-taught, what that actually means is that I've just consumed shitloads of content. So, lots of YouTube, like color theory and stuff on YouTube. YouTube really, I did like maybe 2 semesters at university of art classes, and I'm like, I don't think this is. I mean, no shit on anyone that went to college for that at all, but it's like I could not jive with it. And I wasn't trying to make a career out of it. It was just for me. It was just a way for me to fill electives. But I highly recommend anyone that's interested in art or layout or design, just start consuming YouTube content. There's so many good artists, and they all have really, really great ideas about how to approach content. But I am just about out of time. I got to go do my day job. It's about 8 o'clock here in Seattle. I'm going to be back on at 1 o'clock. The past 2 days, if you check my most recent live streams, I've been rebuilding the 2024 Artificer to use spell points so that you can use it with color mana, like Izzet or Lorehold from Arcavios, Strixhaven. One of the big projects that I do is the color mana spell point variant rules, replacing the 8 schools of magic and spell slots with the 5 color mana system. And I've been running that in campaigns for the past 7 years. Works really, really well. But the 2024 books was a great opportunity for me to start reapproaching that content. And since I've been using those mechanics for about 7 years now, we've had a lot of insights about like how we can make things run more smoothly and be a little just to lean into character development a little bit more and to be able to better represent your characters. So we're rebuilding all those books and republishing them on DMsGuild for 2024. And the Spell Point Artificer is something that I'm really thrilled to see Wizards presenting so quickly, because we had already been working on it for the Martial Powers playtest that we have on Monday nights. And now we're having new official rules for it, and it's fun deconstructing it and then rebuilding it with a more like for example the feature that first level feature that lets you make temporary objects. Every single object on that list is 2 or less gold pieces and weighs 7 pounds or less. So you can basically boil down that ability to, you can create any mundane equipment that's 7 pounds or less and costs 2 gold pieces or less on the adventuring kit list. So the DM can just add more items as you please that's appropriate for your game, because you understand, like by deconstructing what the mechanics are, you can understand what it is they're actually doing so that you can expand on that and make it more unique to your own campaign. But you have to understand the scaffolding of how this stuff works. So that's what we spent the last couple of days deconstructing. And now that we have those done, at lunch today, we'll go back in and we're going to start working on the subclasses and translating all of those for the spell point variant rules. And then we'll be able to have suggestions about like how the colors would work. Like blue-red mana for House Izzet. Like what would an Izzet Artificer look like compared to like a Dimir Artificer of blue-black versus a Boros Artificer would be like an artillerist using white and red mana to power turrets and casting spells and blah blah blah. Fun stuff. But these are some decent outline sketches that we can work with. So what we'll do is when we come back, we'll be back Monday morning, because this is Friday. So we're going to work on Bastion campaigns tomorrow morning. And then Monday morning when we're back, we'll continue working on these character sketches. We'll blow these out into their own tokens, 300 by 300 pixel tokens. And like this is a 300 by 300 token space that we created Danica inside of. And so, oh yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to go over here. We need to go left. And then here, I just hit 500 subscribers. We're trying to climb to center. 1,000 is our next goal. And once I officially get access to doing like a shop on the YouTube channel, like we'll eventually be able to have like a shop down here. So I'll be able to start posting stock art, and then we'll be able to pull up the stock art and then look at creating the stock art with it. Because most of the art that I have these days I create online, and then I drop them into a book, and then I can extract them from a book and create them as separate pieces of stock art. And then if you join my Patreon for $1, you get licensing rights to use any stock art you buy from me for unlimited time. So that's something I have to set up this week during the holiday season. But this looks good. Let's go over here. So that's some things we're doing. Some things we're working on. Spelljammer. The Martial Powers system, which is an alternate magic system for martial characters, so they have the same breadth of resources and options and character development that casters have, so you don't feel like you're just playing a one-trick pony or trying to find some way to not be a one-trick pony. Well, we're just going to give you the tools to avoid that, and then of course the Bastion system that we're working on, and we're also working on the Mecha Kaiju book for Spelljammer, because we developed the 5e combat system for use with vehicles. So now that we have that in place for ships and fighter craft and squadrons and fleets, we can start riffing off of that and create Mega Kaiju and like Warframes or like Gundam / Escaflowne / Evangelion / War Golems that your characters can pilot and operate at a larger scale. So like if you're in a 50-foot mech, you're not running dungeon combat at the 5-foot scale. Now you're running combat at the 50-foot scale. So if you have if you have stone giants that are 100 feet tall, they occupy a 2x2 space at the 50-foot scale, which is something we spent a fuck ton of time developing in the Spelljammer book. And big shout out to Ukulele Bard for helping make that happen. And it's probably I think that Spelljammer book is my best work. And it'll stay my best work probably until we publish the Bastion campaigns. Then Bastion campaigns will probably be my best work. Yada yada yada. Anyway, I'm building some loose background framing stuff so she's not just a floating head in space. But I'm out of time. It's 8 o'clock, so it's time for me to blip out of here. I stream Monday through Saturday, so check it out. Check out my Discord down below if you're interested in playtesting or just sharpening your knives with me. And I'll see everybody hopefully in 5 hours at 1 o'clock. We'll be working on the spell point variant rules for the Artificer 2024. So thanks for the raid, Taryn, and thanks for everybody that's been sticking around. Love having you. See you later.